Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is truly my honor to be here and speaking to the Theosophical Society members and friends. My name is Mary Sise, and I am a licensed clinical social worker in the Albany, New York area. And I'm someone who combines traditional therapy and brain science with a very spiritual and first energetic approach, and then a spiritual approach. So it's all interweaved in my work. And how I got into this is I've been a therapist for, well, in the mental health field for over 50 years. And as I was in this field and working a lot with trauma and dissociation, and I realized that there were so many things I couldn't answer for people. And I couldn't answer for myself, and I couldn't help people. The big questions like, why did this bad thing happen? And where's God? And I can't get the nightmares, I can't get the flashbacks out of my head, and I can't stop grieving. And talking about it oftentimes for me made things worse. Now, this was back in the 90s when we didn't know the brain science that we know now. And so I kept searching, and my constant prayer was, please, please, Lord, don't let me make anybody worse. Like it was unfathomable to me because they had been through so much pain and trauma, especially growing up. And that, along with when I was in my 40s, I had a baby sister who was diagnosed with a disease that required lung transplants. She actually had two double lung transplants in the 10 years. And so that catapulted me into this energy work, since traditional Western medicine didn't have the answers we were looking for. So I learned all about law of attraction and these energy laws, and you create your own reality, which I frankly loved when my life was going really well. But when things weren't going so well, why can't I fix this? Why couldn't she heal this? And it was, she was 39 at the time when she died, leaving two very small children. And my world really fell apart. Everything failed. Religion failed. Everything failed. I just, why does this happen? And so I became as I would say, searching and desperate as often my clients were. So it was just too much for me. And that really led me on a search for answers to these big questions. And more importantly, a search to end suffering, a search really to end suffering on this planet as best as I could. This search led me then to a spiritual master, Her Holiness Saima. And I met Her Holiness about 3 days after 9/11 in 2001. So that was amazing right there. And I've learned other traditions, the Hindu, the Vedic, the other things about reincarnation, and things that, as a Catholic girl in New Jersey in the 50s, they weren't talking about over there. I mean, I don't know where you grew up, but nobody was saying namaste in New Jersey in the 50s. Okay. So it opened up this whole new world. And then I began to integrate this with what I knew from energy psychology and added to brain science. So today, my time with you, what I just would love to spend with you is, first, I want to talk to you a little bit about energy and how energies get in our field, and maybe help answer some questions that you've been pondering, like about why can't I hear my soul's voice? I know I'm supposed to be listening, but why can't I get it? What's in the way between me and my soul, and hearing this voice of my soul in this quietness? We're going to talk about that and the brain, and how energies get in your field. And then I'm going to teach you and give you an experience, actually, of energy psychology. Some people call it tapping. I trained in it over 25 years ago. I'm one of the early adapters of tapping for my my patients. So I'm going to show you how we can look at what's blocking you from hearing this next step. What is it? And what's blocking you from being actually able to do it? And you'll have an experience of this. Energy psychology is a branch of psychology, a branch of therapy where we use the energy systems of the body for psychological problems like your anxiety, your panic, your grief. And you can either use the aura around the body. There's energy that's out there. And people, of course, that are clairvoyant can see the distorted energy, the contracted energy in the aura. We can use the chakra system, which are very powerful vortexes in the body. You see this on the picture there. Or we can use the meridian system. That's a Chinese medicine system that has different meridians associated with different emotions. And we tap on either the beginning or the end point of the meridians. And in the original version of tapping, which Dr. Roger Callahan created, it was called TFT. He also included a series of eye movements in that. And you can see now from what I shared with you about the brain, how the eye movements, that's part of the nervous system that is actually you can move and you can help to calm the body down. There are many, many different forms of tapping nowadays in the last 25 years. The most popular, I would say, is EFT, which was developed by Gary Craig after studying with Dr. Callahan. My way is a little bit unique. I feel like my way is more of a quantum tapping way where we're going to bring in spirit, we're going to bring in intention and the power of that. I am statements so that you can decide for yourself. Might this be something that would help you to really step into who you really are and what you came on the planet for? So that's my plan with you today. I hope you are okay with that, and let's dig in. So first, let's start with, who are you anyway? You're this soul, this big energy soul, big, and you kind of came into planet Earth. You're multidimensional. These are the teachings I have from my teacher, and you're multidimensional. You live in many dimensions. And a part of you, of the soul, a ray, we could say the oneness could be the sun, and you're a ray of the sun. An aspect of you came down here to planet Earth. And we can talk about all the reasons why you thought you wanted to come, but I'm not going to get into them today. But so your soul in physical form. In order for you to get here, you had to get two souls that would bring you in. And what happens when these souls come together to create you, their energies come create you. So in your energetic field is also the energies of your parents, and they first come on during conception, that point. And so if your dad was in the war or your mother was poor and there was scarcity energy, all those energies are already in your field. And you may have had you may have never gone to war, but yet there's sometimes some war energies in you. So much of that started at conception, right at conception. And then the other interesting thing, you were born, obviously. It's like, who am I? And if you ever held a baby in your arms, or you see babies, they're just glowing, this glowing soul, this glowing light. And they emanate it. It's why everybody likes to hold them and pick them up, and they're just emanating this love and this light. And then what happens is somebody takes you home. And I always love this next slide here because it makes me laugh. All of you have had children probably know they look at you with that look like, I wonder if they really know what they're doing over there. And actually, based on where you went, often will determine what are the energies that are in your field. Why that's so is because until the age of 7, your aura, which is the energy field around you, is very open and it's porous. And it's like a sponge, and your brain is like a sponge. And so all the energies that are in your home come into your field. They just come in. So if there was fighting in the home, this anger energy is in your field. It's actually in your field. And those people who have psychic sight or can read auras or see the energies in aura actually see the energies in your field, in a child's field. If there was a lack of abundance, if there was scarcity there, in your field. If mom was depressed and you're a little child there, that energy is also in your field. And because your brain isn't developed yet, you can't really say, no, that's hers. It's not. It just comes in. And so over time, and especially under the age of 7, this light that you are, you see this little girl or you saw that baby, it gets covered and covered and covered by energies in your field. Still underneath all that is the truth of who you are, your light, your divinity, your soul, but it's covered. It gets covered. And certain energies are allowed to be expressed in your family. Like, for example, if your dad was angry, then you as a child might not have expressed anger because that was a little dangerous. So there's some energies you really, really have to suppress in you, but yet they're in there. Okay. And we take on different roles. I'm the family hero. I'm mommy's little helper. We play and we develop our personality at this time so that we can kind of create this personality to kind of get through and handle this whole earth thing and where we landed, where we came in with the parents, and with our ancestry. There's all these energies that are in you. The other thing about being under the age of 7 is to understand is the brain. This is really important. If you can get this, I think you will stop blaming yourself if you do for some of the beliefs that you have. Like, why do I still believe I'm unworthy? Why do I still believe that I'm not good enough? Why do I still believe I can't do something? When you're first born, your brain is primarily in a delta state. A delta state is a very sleepy state, which is why babies sleep most of the time. So that makes sense. And then under the age of 7, your brain is primarily in a theta wave state. So you move from a delta, slower up to theta. Now, the interesting thing about a theta state, and anyone who's trained in hypnosis knows this, is that if I begin to slow my voice down and the cadence of my voice, and you're there with me and you're listening to what I'm saying, oftentimes your brain, with enough suggestion, will match, will resonate and go deeper and deeper into a theta state. A theta state is a very programmable state. For example, as a hypnotherapist, if I can get you into a deep enough theta state, I can put a dime on you and tell you it's a hot coal and you'll actually blister. That's how programmable we are in theta. They can do surgery in theta. They can cut you open, have the blood not do this and that. Personally, it's not my idea of a good time, but it is possible in this theta state. So now take a moment with me and just think about and be with yourself for a minute. Like, what programs got programmed in me under the age of 7? What was the energy in my house? What did I learn about who I really am? Is anybody saying namaste in your house? What was it like there? And again, it's not to blame parents at all. Nobody told them. But all, if not, I don't know how, 90% we could say of your beliefs are formed under the age of 7. And that's why, despite all your hard work and your meditating and your mantras and your this and your that, and your spiritual searching, oftentimes these beliefs that are formed under the age of 7 are really almost impossible to shift despite your best intentions and all your affirmations. Now, after the age of 7, like when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, around there, and as a teenager, you're mostly in alpha and beta. Now, beta is a very alert state. Like if I change the cadence of my voice, if I make you laugh, you're paying attention, you're really maybe taking notes, you're really trying to get what I'm saying, you're more in a beta alert state. If I slow it down a little bit, you'll go into alpha. Okay. Alpha would be the state you're in when you're not paying attention when you're driving and you kind of go past the exit. That's kind of an alpha state. Okay. So you can see the brain has these different states. And the real issue is, what did I get programmed? Especially if you look back at what they were saying when you were growing up, it's not like what they're saying now, hopefully, to children, or the teaching, but what was wrong and what was right. And so that's where we're going to look. That's where the energy is stuck, and the unworthiness energy and the anger energy and the shame energy is stuck with these beliefs. And that's where we get stuck, and why we often can't get to the next level of what you're feeling like you're being called to do. This is why I came. I know this is why I came. All right. Or this is what I wanted to do here. The other thing about beliefs is most of them are hidden in your subconscious mind. You're not even aware of them. But the truth is, you're not even aware of a lot of stuff. Most of us work with about, like, say, 5 to 10% of that we're really conscious of. But what's really going on is what's in your subconscious mind. And oftentimes we can even access that by tapping into the body. And you'll see that with the work I'll do with you in a little bit, how we access the body and we activate the meridian system, and that will begin to shift for you. And then you can, once that's released, then we can program in something new for you. Well, what has to happen is you have to become conscious of what's in the subconscious. Usually that's not hard. What will happen is somebody will come to you and trigger it, or a situation will, or you're trying to make something happen. You just can't make it happen. That's when, and I'll explain that a little further in a minute. But most of your beliefs are there. You're not even really aware of them, or you might be, but you haven't been able to really shift them yet because you've been trying to talk your way out of them. And oftentimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does, just oftentimes it doesn't, at least in my experience. I love this picture because it kind of reminds me of me when I was learning how to meditate or trying to meditate. So I'd be sitting there with the best intentions, the best posture I could ever muster. And yet my mind is going a million miles an hour. I mean, there's thoughts of this, there's thoughts of worry. I used to say I can do a mantra and a to-do list at the same time. That's how busy my mind got. And when we begin to try to quiet down, especially if you grew up in a home where there was a lot of trauma going on, there was a lot of anger, it was unpredictable, you just never felt safe. It's very, very hard often to be able to quiet down and get to that space where that still small voice is. And I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. It's because staying alert and paying attention kept you safe. And those energies are just still in your field, waiting and hoping that you transmute them. Because who you really are is divinity and light in a physical form. And you have that power to transmute them so that you can hear the voice of your soul, of your soul's calling, of what's next for me. And so if any of you have kind of had a hard time meditating, take some hope with this, that you'll be able to go deeper in your meditations the more you begin to clear away the fears that are keeping you alert, that are keeping you watchful. It served you as a child. or the way you took on from your mother all her worrying or her negativity. It's just in your field. That's all. And we can transmute that. This is really one of my favorite slides. It's the WGOD is like God is your soul. To me, God, your soul, whatever, is always broadcasting. But the trick is you have to be on AM, almighty mode, not FM, fear mode. It's like you can't hear what's broadcasting on AM when you're on FM, right? Or FM when you're on AM. It's all mixed up. And so for me and for the people I've worked with, my clients, if I can get the body to quiet down and these fears that are in your field to be transmuted with you, and you can do it, it's just easier to drop into this and to hear what you're being called to, hear what's my next step, what's next for me, and how do I get there? And you won't have these fears that are in your brain that's hijacking you once you quiet it down. And so I love this slide. It just always reminds me of that. When I want to know what's the right choice for me, I have to get into the feeling and activate the feeling state. This feels right. Yes, yes. Not, oh my God, I can't do that. I can't do, that fear energy. So how do I align? How do I get myself to align and do it fast? Let me give you an example. I was working with somebody yesterday, a really nice woman. She was on this program that I do. It's called Tapping Tuesday. It's free. You can all come on it. And we do tapping for an hour, and there's people over the world who tap. And she raised her hand to go, and she was sharing that she was really new. She was supposed to leave the marriage that she was in that wasn't right, and a more fulfilling job. She just knew it. And even though she'd really been able to manifest a lot of things, she hadn't been able to do this. She had accomplished a lot in her life and made a lot of things happen, and is very vibrant and healthy and had a lot going for her. And as we explored, okay, let's look at what was it like when you were little? What were you told about yourself from your dad or from your mom? And what she became really aware of is all the programming that she got about women aren't going to amount to anything, and her father's attempts, especially, to keep a lid on her, to keep her down. You're too much. All those kinds of programs. And when we worked together, and the whole group was tapping with her, and everyone was tapping on this issue of who you think you are, or she began to really tap into this little child aspect of her that really doubted that she was all that. Much of her believed it. I would say probably 80%, 80 or 90% even believed she could do it. But this little 10% was saying no. And what if what dad is saying is true? And this doubt that she had in her. So we did the tapping, which I'm going to teach you in a minute on that. And it released. It totally released. And there was no conflict within her anymore. And my experience with people like this, once you can do that and release the doubt or the sadness, she had tears in her eyes when she was talking about this sadness that my dad doesn't believe in me, or thinks there's something bad about me or wrong with me. Once she tapped into that, it was deep into her subconscious. We tapped into that, and then we tapped what I'm going to show you next. It freed her. And my experience is, once that happens, it's easy. It's easy to make the next thing happen. Why? Because who you really are is light, is creation. You're a creator. It's just these other beliefs hijack you. And these energies hijack you. So now let's get into the work. Let's do it so you can have an experience of it and I can show it to you. So I'd like you to first begin to picture something that you really feel you're being called to do next. It may be you want to give a talk. It may be you want to have a difficult conversation with someone. It may be that it's time to leave a place, but you just can't, you're afraid to do it, even though you know. Okay. It might be, it might be time to speak up about something, as I said, just something you're wishing to do. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Just, I want to show you the power first of your imagination. So I want you to think about what you'd like to do. And really bring it into mind, bring it into your imagination. Make it as big as you can. And notice what happens in your body as you think about this. Does your stomach tighten? Does your heart beat a little faster? Are you like, no? Can you even imagine it? Sometimes you can't even imagine what you want to do. It's like, no way, it's not happening. It's not even possible. I don't deserve it, or something like that. Just see if you can get it. So now let's take a moment and begin to picture, use your imagination, something that you would really like to be able to do. Could be give a speech. It could be speak up to your neighbor that you've been letting walk all over you. It could be asking for the raise at work. It could be having a conversation with someone that you'd really like to be friends with, but you just can't seem to do it. It could be teaching a class to 500 people. What is your next step? You know you're feeling called to do this, but part of you is saying no. Notice the tension in your body. And on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 means, oh my God, I'm going to get sick, or my God, I'm panicking, like no way. So just give it a number. Okay. And as I said earlier, it's really important that you be in the body, because that will increase your success. Okay. So 0 means there's no distress. I can really see it. 10 means like I can hardly even see it. It's not clear. It's not clear. Okay. So for now, let's imagine something you're really feeling called to do, or you want to do. You really want to do it. And it may be something like giving a talk to 500 people, or even giving a talk to 10 people, or maybe having a difficult conversation with someone, something that you really want to do. You may want to ask for a raise at work, or something you want to do, but you just can't seem to get yourself to do it. All right. And notice any tension that's in your body, like your stomach's tight, your chest is going really fast, or you're really you're really feeling upset about it. And it's really important that you be in the body, because what we're going to do is we're going to tap on meridian points, and they're in the body. They're energy pathways in the body. So that's where we're going to tap. So you got to be in there. All right. So feel it. You're trying to imagine something, and yet you can't really see it. You can't even imagine it. And there's all this distress in your body. Okay. So just imagine that. And give it a number. Right? Feel the distress and give it a number. From 0, no distress, to 10, really upset about it. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down 3 inches and over 3 inches. There's a neurolymphatic drainage spot. It's a lymph spot that if you rub here, it's like right above your chest here. If you rub here, there's a dent, and it's sore when you rub it, and it's on both sides of the body. This spot on the body, if you just rub this, if you feel groggy, or you feel toxic with something, this will move the lymph that goes to your brain. So just doing this on its own is very powerful for the body. And Dr. Callahan, who invented what we're going to use now, it's called tapping, it's called TFT or EFT, many different names. He increased his success to even reverse polarity issues, because your body has a polarity. And with clients who had chronic depression, or sores that don't get healed, or medicines that don't work all the time, just chronic, if you just rub this, it'll serve your body. But what we're going to do is we're going to say an accepting statement here. So you could say, even though I don't even believe it, or it's impossible, or I don't deserve it, or I can't even see myself doing this, I accept myself. And you say that 3 times. And why we do that is because no healing can happen if you're mad at yourself or you're resisting. All healing happens in a space of love. So you first have to accept that I don't believe it's possible. Or you can even say, a part of me doesn't believe it's possible. I can't even imagine it. I can't see it. I accept myself. So that's just where you are right now. Even though I can't do it or my stomach's tight, you just accept, here's where I am today. And you make up the words. But the basic thing is, even though I believe something or even though my stomach's tight, I accept myself. Just accept yourself. It's so powerful. And you do that 3 times. Now, continuing to imagine what you want to create, try to imagine it, keep staying in your body. Now you're going to tap this side of the hand meridian point. Now, what that point is, it's your small intestine meridian in the body, and it helps to reverse any resistance in you. And so this was the one Dr. Callahan came up with for that. So we do this, but what we're going to do is we're going to add an intention statement to it. And you're going to say, I'm releasing the belief, the fear that's blocking me from doing it, all the roots and origins of it, and all that it means and does to me. I am releasing the fear that's blocking me from doing this, all its roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. I am releasing the belief, the fear that's blocking me from doing this, all its roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. And why we say roots and origins is because we're saying to the energy, go get the origin of this. It may even be in your ancestors. It may even be from a past life. It doesn't matter. You are powerful enough. You've identified it and you're releasing it. Okay. Now we're going to tap what these are called meridian points. They're points on the meridian system that go with different emotions in Chinese medicine. So we tap here. And all this time you're thinking about and imagining what you'd really like to do. Then the side of your eyes. And then under your eyes. And you may find when you tap one of these, it feels, wow, I need that. Intuitively, you feel that? Just stay there a little bit longer. Tap under your nose, under your lip. Tap here at your collarbone as if you had a skinny tie. I'm going to move my thing here. It's on either side of it, right here. And this is kidney meridian. This is a lot where fear is stored in the body. And these are all Chinese medicine points. Make your hands like fists, come down 4 inches below the armpit, and you're going to tap under your arms. Then you're going to tap under your chest. And then with all your fingers together like a laser, we're going to move back up here and tap at the top of the head. Now, I spoke to you earlier about the brain. The eyes are the part of the brain that's on the outside. So we're going to move the eyes. You're going to tap a point here between your ring finger and your little finger. Then put it on your body too. And with your head straight, you're going to close your eyes and open them. With your head straight, you're going to look down in one corner and down in the other corner. You can go to the right or the left or right. That doesn't matter. Keep tapping, and with your head straight, you're going to roll your eyes very slowly all the way around in a circle. It's easy if you imagine a clock, and make sure you get all the numbers. And again, what we're trying to do is get the brain to move, to fire in a different way, because oftentimes these things are in the brain from like a shock or somebody shocked you, and it helps quiet your nervous system down. Then move your eyes around in a circle in the opposite way. Again, making sure you get to all the hands of the clock, all the numbers on the clock. Very good. Now you're going to hum a tune, count to 5 and hum a tune again. Now, why we do that is because humming will put you more in the right hemisphere, counting the left and humming the right. We're trying to get your brain to shift here, shift this. So you're just going to hum. And then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you hum again. All right. And we're going to do one last round of the tapping. So we go eyebrows and the side of your eyes. Again, you're as best as you can, imagine what you want under your eyes, under your nose, under your lip. Here at your collarbone. Hands like a fist, under 4 inches, poke around. This one's usually tender when people do this. So if you can find the tender spot, that's the best. Under your chest, you can poke around. You'll find it. Something will be tender. Fingers like a laser at the top of your head. Now take a breath and imagine what you'd like to do, your original idea, and notice. Is it harder to do? Is it easier to do? Can you see it? Notice the distress in your body. Is your heart still pounding, or there's more space? Something is shifted. Now, sometimes it's not that easy to just get it with one round. You might have to do 2 rounds or 3 rounds. It's okay. You just keep doing it. And what you will begin to notice is more and more, you'll feel calmer. Your nervous system will quiet down. And you'll be able to do the things you want to do. You can also use this to install any belief, to release any belief that no longer serves you and install a new belief. But just notice where you are now about what you'd like to do. Can you see it? And we know from visualization, if you can see something, it's way easier to do it. It's so much easier to do it. I mean, they have lots of research with athletes being able to visualize shooting baskets and all sorts of things. But you add tapping to it, what begins to happen is you now resonate with the new behavior. You now resonate with this new identity. It's really not a new identity. It's who you are. It's just you are covered. So we'll do a little more on how to now put something healthier in if we're doing a belief or a new image. So now this time we're going to rate how true does the image feel. So 10 means with your image, you can do it. Okay. So now think of it this way. We're kind of changing the numbers around a little bit, but it's okay. 10 means I can do it. All right. See if you're really at a 10, or maybe you're at an 8 or a 7 or a 6. Doesn't matter. Just figure out where you are. Where's your body holding that distress? Just notice that. Now come down 3 inches and rub 3 inches. You're going to say the same kind of thing. I accept myself, even though I don't totally believe I can do it, or I can't totally imagine it. I just accept myself. Accept myself, even though I don't totally believe I can actually do this. I accept myself. I just accept myself. It's where I am right now, whatever. We all have parts, and part of you is dragging their feet. It's okay. Tap the side of the hand now with an intention to release the belief. So I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me from imagining this or believing this. All the roots and origins of it and all that it means and does to me. I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from believing or imagining this. All the roots and origins and all that it means and does to me. I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from believing or imagining this. All the roots and origins and all that it means and does to me. We're going to tap all the meridian points one more time. Eyebrows. Then the side of your eyes. Under your eyes, just follow me. Under your nose and your lip. Collarbone. Under your arms. Under your chest and all your fingers up here at the top of your head. Very good. The back of your hand now. You can even go fast. Close your eyes and open them. Head straight. Look down one way and look down in the other. All the way around in a circle one way. Make sure you get all the numbers on the clock. Then slowly in the opposite direction. Keep tapping here. And then hum. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then hum. Eyebrows. The side of your eyes. Then under your eyes. Under your nose. And under your lip. Collarbone. Under your arms. Under your chest. And all your fingers up here at the top of your head. Now look at what you're looking to do again. Did it come in stronger? Can you see yourself doing it? Did something shift? Is your body calmer? Those are going to be the things you're going to look for. And so it just to show you that you are that powerful. You can transmute and shift any belief that got programmed in you, anything that's blocking you, any fear in you, so that your field becomes clearer and clearer. You can imagine yourself on your meditation mat, calm, your mind quiet, and do some tapping on that. And I really invite you, just try it on everything. There's so many different things you can do with tapping. I'm just giving you this much so far. And I really encourage you to experiment with it, try new things with it. You'll be shocked. It's what's possible for you. Before we close, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of action. The brain loves what it knows. For example, you have your chair at the dinner table, right? So somebody comes and sits in your chair and the brain's like, that's wrong. But get out of my chair. This is my chair. Like, it just loves what it knows. It's just how we're hardwired for survival. This is what's right. This is what's not right. This is how I go here. So when we're creating a new behavior or something new that we haven't done, again, if you can imagine it and do tapping, it's easier to do, but you got to do it. It's like driving a car. You can't just read a book on it. You got to get in there and drive it until it's so comfortable that it's in your subconscious. So I really encourage you to take some new actions with whatever you decided you wanted to do next. Make the phone call, practice something. And you may have a little bit of anxiety with it or fear. Just tap that down. And then the more you, obviously, that you do, it's just so much easier to do it and to shift. And then finally, if you'd like to hang out with me more, I have Tapping Tuesday. It's just free. It's 2:00 every week. You can come, you can tap with me. And we usually have an international group. We all tap, somebody goes, and we have fun with it. I've written the book, The Energy of Belief. That there's more information in that. And I'm also the director of a Mary Magdalena program. So there's some information there if you'd like to join that. I'd love to teach you more about tapping and too about how to step into a real sacred role of a healer. What is the role and how do I play that role? And that's what that Mary Magdalena program is about. So let's go back to, who am I? This is who you are. This light, your divinity in a physical form. You came to planet Earth. You picked some parents, you got here. You spent some years with a lot of interesting energies in the house. It's okay. And I can promise you, if you identify it, if you don't suppress an energy, own it, there's hatred in me, there's anger in me, there's terror in me, and transmute it. It is possible. My sense of at this important time on the planet, the more that each and every one of us clears and transmutes these lower frequency energies that have been in our fields, the more we can be these beacons of light on this planet, especially during this critical time. The easier it will be to shine our light and light up and assist the planet in this shift of consciousness. I thank you for being here with me, and I truly wish you all the best. Thank you.